Hello and welcome to another episode of Guitar Rescue. Today we are going to upgrade this beautiful Paul Reed Smith 35th Anniversary SE, and we are going to add locking tuners to it. Okay, so first the tools that you're going to need to do this. First you need the part. You need a string winder of some kind. You need a little cardstock, a business card, to put under the bridge if you have a tremolo bridge so that it doesn't damage the finish. You need, in this case, I need a capo. I need some polish to polish up the headstock. You need a 10mm driver, and you need a small screwdriver. Probably going to need some side cutters to cut some strings, a polishing rag, and a straight edge. Okay, so we're going to get right into it here. I just put a set of strings on here the other day, and then my wife surprised me with these tuners. I don't know where she got the idea that I wanted these tuners, but she did. And this is a Paul Reed Smith 35th anniversary. Paul Reed Smith opened their doors in 1985. That happens to be the year that my wife and I got married. So this is kind of our anniversary guitar for me. So I'm going to put a capo on here just because I just put brand new strings on, and I don't want, I'm going to use these same strings. These are 9s, by the way. I'm going to whip through this string removal. You don't need to watch this whole part. Although I'll leave it running, and then we can edit it as we go to shorten it up for you. So first you take off the strings. Obviously, if you were changing your strings, you'd probably just cut the strings off. But I'm saving these strings so it takes a little longer to do it this way. But they're only about a day or two old. So, and in anticipation of an anniversary gift, I kind of left these strings a little longer than I usually would, so that if I got any locking tuners, I'd have plenty of string left to cut down and put through my locking tuners to cut the ends off to make them straight. I've already set this guitar up, set the intonation and string height and pickup height and all that stuff, so I'm not going to get into that on this particular video. Okay, so there, hopefully these strings don't go too far. But you can already see this tremolo is laying on that business card that I just put there. Actually, there's 2 business cards there for the height. Okay, so we got our strings. Now we're going to remove the old, so we have a 10mm driver. And isn't that funny? They're loose. Okay, I guess I didn't check them in my setup. You just put them a little tighter than hand tight to begin with, and that's why it's better to have a driver type tool than a wrench where you're going to put a little too much pressure on them. These guitars, these anniversary models, I'm a big proponent in buying special edition guitars or anniversary models or signature guitars because you get a big bang for your buck. There's usually a lot of extra stuff that comes with an anniversary model. There's nothing else that this guitar would need in the way of upgrades. It really doesn't even need locking tuners, but you know, they're just nice to have. So that's why I'm changing them here. All right, so you take this nuts off, then you're going to flip it over, and you're going to take the screws off of the back. And try not to lose them. Because these tuners, somebody will like these tuners, I'm sure. Somebody needs these tuners out there in the world. I also ordered, or my wife did, for me, a set of ebony, real ebony knobs, tuning knobs that go on these tuners. I think that'll give it a nice look, and it's also, usually when I've done that, I find that the tuning knobs, when you take them off the tuners, the chrome ones, they weigh a couple of ounces. And the ebony ones weigh about a ½ an ounce. I know that sounds crazy, but it gives you a lot more balance and a little less neck dive when you do that, when you lighten those up a little bit. So we'll see how that works out. Those haven't come in yet. They should be just a simple installation on that. Okay, so now we've got the tuners out of there. We're going to get our handy dandy guitar polish. This happens to be Taylor polish. And we got a nice microfiber rag. Hopefully there's nothing on it. And we are going to clean that whole area up real nice on both sides. And flip that back over. I'm going to do a little video on special edition guitars and why I like them. So I'll talk more about this guitar and all the features that it comes with that you pay no extra for. Okay, so now I'm going to open up the package, so that might take a second to get in here, maybe not. Sometimes, you know, they're hard to get into the packages. There should be all the little parts in here. We're going to keep this box. Okay, so now what we do, obviously there's lefts and rights to this. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start at the bottom, at the widest part of the headstock. Okay? And we're going to put 2 of these in. Hopefully the ones that go in the right direction here. Like that. We are going to get the nuts caught from the underside or whatever. There's a reason for this madness. I'll show you in just a minute. Okay. So we have a washer and a new nut that goes over the, and we just get that caught. You'll see why in a second. Same with the other side. Okay. Okay, so we're just getting those not even really snug. Well, a little, just a little, so they kind of stay still while you're messing with them. Okay, now the reason you start with the bottom ones is because then you take a straight edge and you make them straight like that before you tighten them up. Can you see what I'm doing here? I'm putting a straight edge on the two tuners to level them out, make sure they're straight before I do any tightening. So you get that nice and straight like that. Then you can come around, hold that all straight, and then you can snug this up just a little bit more to hold it there. You don't want to, you're not going to tighten it down yet, but so that should be pretty straight. Now, the holes with the new screws should line up perfectly. So that these guys are straight. Because you know there's a teeny weeny bit of play in these things. Okay, now you could go back and just a little tighter, you know, about a quarter of a turn tight. You don't want to break anything. But those now should be lined up. Now we're going to go to the next two and so on. So we have our straight edge. We would drop in our next two. Once we figure out which one goes where, that goes there. We get a washer and a nut and repeat the same process. And you like to get it kind of snug with your hand. Get the next one, which goes this way. Get a washer and a nut. We're gonna edit this up a little bit so that you don't have to watch every single little step I do here. Put it on the top of these guys. Get them lined up. Like that. Snug it a little more. Our screws should line up perfectly now. Put our straight edge on here. Actually, when you hold the straight edge against it, it kind of makes it straight. Now we get it straight. Very close. These guys are almost touching up here at the top. These two. You know, this whole headstock is for a reason. It keeps the strings straighter without a crazy bends and it helps keep it in tune. That's another part of the PRS design that's well thought out. So these tuners are almost touching each other here where the screws go because of the angle of the head stock. Okay, now we come back and we give that the final tightening. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, we don't need to wipe too much because we're not done touching things. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to add the locking part to it. So, move the tools out of our way. Right now we need some slot cutters. You know what? You need a slotted screwdriver too. Okay, so let's see. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to cut the very end of this string off. And I'm going to run it through the tuner. Okay. Now, you want to put, so I ran this through the tuner. I'm going to make the tuner straight with the string, like this. I put about two fingers in here of slack. I take my little thumb screw and screw it in. And now, I'm going to tune it up, or tighten it up. Okay, we're going to get to the tuning in just a minute. So, that's how that works. So we're going to take the next one. You would obviously put new strings through here. You'd run the string through the tuner. You'd give it 2 fingers of slack at the nut, and then you'd cut it off. So I'm working with strings I used the other day. So you do need a slotted screwdriver. So you're going to run your string through the tuner. You're going to leave you're going to put your 2 fingers by the nut and put the string over it so you have that much slack. Then you put your little set screw in, hand tight, and you tune it up, or you turn it up, and then you tighten up your set screw in all of them, and then you tune the guitar, and voila, you have a beautiful PRS with locking tuners on it. So let's see. It still plays actually. And that's only the beginning. Okay, well there you go. Upgrade the tuners on a PRS 35th anniversary. See you in the next video.